Alright, this is officially the second in my series that I'm making, talking about Grapplers, and I'm talking about Bane from Injustice 2. I'm gonna go with this one because I like it. Now, this one thing I'm trying to remember, what would I have to say about Bane? Oh yeah, the fact that Bane is the only grappler from Injustice 1 returning in this game. Solomon Grundy and Shazam being replaced by Swamp Thing and Cheetah. So if you're familiar with Bane and Injustice 1, you feel right at home with him in this one. So one thing that separates Bane from the other grapplers is the fact that this dude has armor for days. Not on any normals or combos, besides his back and forward 3 when meter burn. But his special moves, except Ring Slam, is anti-air grab. So anyways, back forward 1, back forward 2, and down back 2. And also down back forward 3. Man, that move is awesome. Definitely one of the coolest command grabs in the whole game. But anyways, all of these moves have armor. Well, they only have one hit of armor. Actually, it should say on here. No, it doesn't say. But yeah, they basically get about one hit of armor, which usually for some characters like Bane, that's enough, since just about every projectile by default usually does one hit. Especially when you're using Raging Charge to get across the screen. It does have a bit of startup to it. Not so much that you can't combo into it, but enough that you have to be careful when using it, because you don't want to throw it out too much, because it'll leave you... It's very negative on block, and it has a lot of startup, which makes it easy to counter without any armor. But it does do good damage. Even more so if you meter burn it. Like, the meter burn doesn't do a whole world of a difference in as far as extra damage, but it's good, especially if you have your opponent low on her health, first or second bar, and you need just that one last hit to finally kill them. And if you got that meter, they go ahead and spend it. Same thing with his back forward 2. Also gets one bar or one hit of armor. Doesn't do as much damage unless you do meter burn it. But it's also good because you can use it to counter opponents, kind of surprising with it. Same thing with Venom Uppercut, which actually makes for a pretty good anti-air. Even more so than Ring Slam, unfortunately. And the opponent's not too far from when you land. That was one issue I had with Bane in Injustice 1, was that his original back forward 2, which was a 2-hit combo, if you meter burned it and you were mid-screen, not in the corner, kind of knocked the opponent away. So I'd say this is a pretty good replacement. Whereas down back 2, it's the same as from Injustice 1, except that it actually, the meter burn from in the first game will kick the opponent away. So again, unless you had the opponent's back already to the corner, that would not be a good thing to do unless you need just that one hit to take down that bar of health. And as far as him getting armor, the only way for Bane to be able to get armor on his moves, except for Ring Slam again, which gets no armor, is by using his character trait. Now compared to other characters, Bane definitely he needs his trait to get that extra bit of damage. It increases his damage. It gives him armor on all his moves except for Ring Slam, as I've already said. And you can use it up to 3 levels. You don't have to use it all at once. Actually, using it up to 3 times, like just spamming it like that, is actually a bad idea. So the best thing to do is just activate it, use it while you can, and before it depletes, activate the next one, and before that one depletes, activate the final one, which gives you... Actually, it gives you armor breaking properties too, especially for his grab. Level 3 Venom, well see, level 2 just basically takes what level 1 does, but it gives you even more damage. Level 3 gives you the most damage increase, as well as being able to break armor. But the downside to it is that it leaves you vulnerable. And by vulnerable, I mean your Bane becomes slower and you take more damage. So here's a basic 113. Here's it with level 1 meter, or level 1 trait. Level 2. And level 3. About as much damage as almost as much as a meter burn back forward 2 without armor. So it's pretty good. But the majority of the time you're just gonna really rely mostly on level 1 Venom just for the armor and even a slight increase in damage. Because Bane gets pretty good damage without having to use meter. In fact, one thing I would say about Bane that makes him, in my opinion, arguably the best grappler is that he doesn't really need to rely on meter. For him, meter usage is just for, you're either going to use it on your second health bar for clashing, use it on a back 1 or back or forward 3 for the armor and to start combos that way. And just that little bit of extra damage off of his moves. Unlike Cheetah, who really needs them for her combos, among other things. So that's one advantage he has, even though he's not the fastest. In fact, I'd say out of the 3 grapplers, his speed is the second. So he's in the middle. He's got good damage without needing meter a whole lot. And you can get quite creative with his combos. In fact, his combos, compared to other characters in this game, are pretty simple and straightforward, but again, just the amount of damage you get on their own without meter, that is definitely a good benefit for Bane. Plus the extra damage you get off of if you manage to use his Venom properly. Not to mention, he does have one extra unblockable, which is after his forward 2. Or at least forward down. So that's the regular forward 2 down, and you got to do down immediately after doing forward 2. Because if you wait at the last moment, he's just going to do the regular forward 2, which is just his forward punch. And this one, when I remember, it should be an overhead. Yeah, it's an overhead. It's an overhead, but the move that comes after that right there, yeah, it looks very basic compared to his other moves. But it also, it's a side switcher, so be careful using it if you got your opponent to the corner. If their back's to the corner, then be careful using this, unless you immediately plan on putting them in the corner afterwards somehow, because then you'll just find yourself in a disadvantage. So let's see here. Put on block. So Bane Bomb, which is unblockable. Oh yeah, Spine Buster. So it is a legitimate throw. So those are his unblockable throws. Down, back, forward 1. I mean 3. I keep saying 1. I keep thinking of Cheetah. But anyways, down, back, forward 3. His command grab. His forward throws. And pretty neat, he does a hop forward. So yeah, it doesn't allow him to carry the opponent towards the corner a very far distance compared to Cheetah. But it does that role pretty well, getting into the corner if they're not all the way there. Plus it looks cool. just a jumping choke slam. So aesthetically, that's what I like about Bane, is how his command grabs are based off of actual wrestling moves. But anyways, so a good way to mix up the opponent with his own unblockables. But that's the only combo, his only non-special move that is an unblockable throw. But still, it serves its purpose. So I said in the last video how there are no unblockable throws as far as supers are in this game, and Bane's is the same. But one cool thing is that Bane's super, so long as the opponent's on the ground, it will hit anywhere on screen. But you have to be careful because it has a bit of startup to it. Not a lot of startup, but still just enough to where any opponent who's fast enough can just jump up and get out of the way. Also, what's pretty cool about it is that it too gets the benefits of using Venom. So here's it by itself. One of my favorite supers in this game. Here is it with level 3 Venom. Also, another nice thing is that unlike other characters who are very meter reliant for their combos compared to Bane, you will probably see people use his throws, or not his throws, his super more often as a way to kind of counter, especially against zoners. Just because of the fact that it technically is a projectile on its own. Just again, the opponent has to be on the ground. Plus, it looks cool. And it is pretty simple to combo into. But from what I remember, it's not that easy to combo into compared to his trait in the first game. You probably find yourself missing more often. Yeah, gosh dang it. I was trying to restart it again before playing the full animation. But anyways, if I remember, his down back 2-3 doesn't combo directly into it. Nope. So you're better off just doing a simple combo, or his 4-2 down. Moves like that, a quick hit or two into it, if you plan on using his super. Considering how a lot of supers in this game suffer from damage scaling, then definitely you don't want to do a combo that's very long. And if you plan on using it while using his Venom, then one good thing would be is activate the first or second level, and then right before he hits the opponent, activate the level 3, and if you can, try to get the button timing so you can get even more damage, because that's one thing introduced in Injustice 2 that they didn't have in the first one, is that if you press certain attack buttons at the right time when the opponent gets hit with a super, it also increases the damage. It's also good for if your opponent is able to do the same during your super, and they're able to decrease the damage, kind of a defensive buff on their end. So that's both a pro and con to Bane's super, since the individual hits, they don't come out super fast and they're kind of easier to time. That makes it easier for you to hit the buttons to increase the damage, but it also makes it easier for your opponent to hit the button and decrease the damage. Another cool thing about Bane is that you can activate his trait anytime you want. While he's getting hit, while he's doing combos, while he's doing his special moves, just not in the middle of his super. Once it starts, once the cinematic gets going, then yeah, you can't activate his trait. Plus, if I remember, once you activate his trait, I'm gonna start with level 1. So yes, you can't activate his Venom. You can't use the other levels. And once the cinematic starts. Plus, by the time it ends, once the cinematic ends, then automatically Venom is used up, and you're down with your debuff. Which I would reiterate again. Once Venom ends, then Bane becomes slower and does less damage, and he also takes less damage. And it's also too proportionate to the level of Venom you use. Level 1, you'll be pretty much okay. It'll be a slight debuff. You'll take a tiny bit more damage, and you only become a little bit slower. Second level is more moderate. Level 3, yeah, that's when you're in a lot of trouble. So definitely use level 3 towards the end of your opponent's second health, or definitely in a case of emergency. So let's go over some of his strings and normals that automatically go into Bane Bomb. So from what I remember off the back of my mind, the moves that go into his command grab would be down 1. Oh, here it is. Down 1 and down 2. Whoops. Although one thing a lot of people who main Bane, that rhymes, main Bane. Anyways, definitely one of his best normals is his down 1. It's pretty quick. Not as quick compared to Cheetah's, but still quick for a grappler. And it's also very good for confirming into his Bane Bomb on block. And I'm pretty sure this is the same with all the characters in this game, that he can't cancel his down 3. Which is unfortunate considering how long they're left in block stun. Even if they technically do recover before Bane does. Oh well, nothing you can do about it. So let's go over some other strings. Let's see, what else does he have? Down, back, 2, 3. And not down, back, 2, 3. I already showed down 2 and down 1. Standing 1. Forward 2 down. What's also pretty cool about it is that you can kind of buffer the input since you're already doing down after you do forward 2. So it gives you variety. You can either go for Spine Buster afterwards or Bane Bomb. Now what else? Unfortunately not 1-1-2. Yeah, those don't even cancel at all. Oh yeah, back 1-1. In fact, there you go. Down back 2-1 does not cancel. 1-2 does not work, unfortunately. 1-2-3 does not work, unfortunately, either. But that's about all of them. Down 2, down 1, back 1-1, and back 2-3. And I have back 2-1 up there for whatever reason. Oh, and forward down. Forward 2 down. And look at that damage. And that's primarily just from Spine Buster. If you meet a burner, of course. So that's like the only downside to the Spine Buster and Bane Bomb is again you're left in the corner. So you got your opponents back to the corner. So yeah, it gives you extra damage, but it leaves you in the corner, and you're just barely outside of reach for your normal throw. So you're better off going for Bane Bomb, which it also leaves you in the corner. But it's not so bad that you can't just scoot forward a little bit and go for a normal throw, or go for literally any other move. So it doesn't push them outside of the corner or throw them outside of the corner so far that it would be impossible to catch them. As a matter of fact, let's test something real quick. Let's see, how many down ones on block can I go for? 1, 2, 3. So 3. And his Bane Bomb still reaches. So needless to say, Bane Bomb has some very good range for a throw. Compared to other command grabs where opponents usually just stand in place while going for a throw, Bane actually scoots forward while reaching for his opponent. Seriously, just look at that range. And the damage on it. And it looks cool. And his Bane Bomb is pretty easy to combo into. Which, again, makes sense because that's basically Bane's whole gimmick. He has some pretty easy combos. They're very straightforward. He's not meter reliant. He gets good damage even without using meter. So that's one advantage he has. So you can use his meter more often for supers compared to other characters, and you will find yourself more likely to have enough meter to win a what the heck was it? Oh yeah, wager battles. Can't believe I forgot that for a second. Did I mention how cool his moves look? Not just his command grab, but his entire move set. Oh, one more thing I should have talked about. His ring slam. So the interesting thing about ring slam is that, so here's the default version. Just grab their legs, slam them to the ground. But ring slam also changes depending on the opponent's position when they're in the air. Like if they're in the air facing up, in the air facing down, if they're facing down, their head towards Bane or their feet towards Bane. So you kind of get the idea. So facing down, head towards Bane. He does that. Facing up, feet towards Bane. Let's see. That's unfortunate. This, his back 1-1-2, used to actually connect into his ring slam just fine in Injustice 1. Yeah, I don't know why they made it that he can't grab them out of that anymore. Well, let's see. What was it I was thinking of? Oh yeah, there was one. I can't remember if he still has it from Injustice 1, where if they're in the air facing down, their feet towards Bane, he would grab them and flip them over. So it's kind of weird and a bit ridiculous how one of them has him slamming the opponent to the ground, but then sliding them away. Like, why would you slam them or slide them away from you if the whole point is to keep them up close? Like, yeah, it looks cool, but really ridiculous. Same thing with this one. Facing up, head towards Bane, he'll grab him and just swing them away like a rag doll. So of course the easier way to remember is just what a position his opponent will end up in should he do a certain combo. So this one right here is the usual, the default ring slam, the one you definitely see most often at the end of his combos, and the one you want to land the most often. Since unlike the other throws, it still keeps the opponent a good distance towards Bane. And you could also buffer the input for down back one off of forward 2 down. That's weird. Yeah, that is a weird thing that will happen sometimes. Sometimes you'll do a certain combo, and sometimes if you have the opponent to the corner, or sometimes if you delay doing ring slam after a certain combo, even just by a little bit, or even it's the same combo or same attack string, like 1-1-3, but you use it towards the end of a combo, it would also affect the opponent's position and rather if or not Bane does that specific air throw. So it can be a little weird. But the main thing you have to worry about is making sure that this is the default one you want to land. So I don't think there's too much to say about Bane that I haven't covered already. The most straightforward out of the grapplers, the least meter reliant. Basically, he's kind of like the complete opposite of Cheetah. He's slower, but he gets good damage. He gets good damage off of his trait as well, which you got to be careful how to use it. So that way you don't find yourself taking more damage throughout the whole match. And because of how his combos and his trait work, you'll find yourself with more meter compared to the other grapplers. So yeah, Bane's just he is the quintessential grappler of this game. Probably why he's the only grappler to return from Injustice 1. Definitely they improved him from the first game, in my opinion. Like, yeah, he'll still struggle with zoners. Zoners are always the grappler's main weakness. But once you get in, it can be quite difficult for the opponent to keep you out. He's not really like mix up heavy with a lot of lows or anything. In fact, how many lows does he have? Or at least I should say how many lows that can cancel into his combos. Yeah, 4 lows. Wait, down 1. Hello? Because when I was showing Cheetah's some of her normals in that video, the opponent was still stand blocking. Oh, that's pretty nice. Unlike Cheetah's down one, Bane's is a legitimate low. It still also has the benefit of going into Bane Bomb. Matter of fact, is it safe on block as well? Oh, it's -2 on block. Which isn't too bad. I don't think there's too many moves that could punish his down one, unless it comes out pretty fast itself. See, if the opponent goes for a move that has some pretty slow startup, then yeah, Bane will recover before they do, since it's only -2 on block. And again, you still have his forward and back throws. Of course, some people will probably think, why would I need Bane's regular throws that are techable if I could just use his Bane Bomb? Well, for one, a simpler input, which is just forward and throw, or 1+3, and you get the option of switching sides or keeping them going forward. Whereas Bane Bomb, yeah, it does more damage, but it also has more startup time, which can make it a bit more predictable. And if you meter burn it for more damage, it will automatically switch sides. Versus his throw in Injustice 1, which, if you did the regular version, would always have him, it'll leave them in front of you, but if you did the meter burn version, you had the choice of switching sides. But that's for Injustice 1. I'll talk about Bane in Injustice 1 and what separates him from his Injustice 2 counterpart here in a later video. So, overall, a simpler character compared to Cheetah, a much simpler game plan, but also, in a way, complex in his own right. There's a lot more to him. Of course, and everyone in Injustice has a good set of combos, versus games like Street Fighter, where comboing, for everyone in general, especially for grapplers, is usually more limited and more repetitive. Alright, that doesn't work. Not to mention the amount of block strings Bane has that goes into Bane Bomb. So definitely, if you like grapplers, Bane will most definitely, absolutely be the go-to grappler for you. Whoops. That's one thing I should have also mentioned, is how some of his combos work. A lot of his combos, you will often find yourself using Ring Slam to end them by default, since the other ones have startup to them that can make it difficult to connect them, even if they are within reach. Man, look at the damage. Not to mention, his normals do have limited range, so you will find some of your combos dropping, or finding yourself having to like try to edge yourself forward a bit, even if by like a slight pixel, just to get that combo to land properly. So also, that's another con. You gotta be quite mindful of the range on his normals. Dang it. But again, even counseling to his forward or back heavies, you wouldn't have to worry about that. I don't think I can emphasize enough just again how much damage Bane can get even without having to use meter. Again, maybe it doesn't seem like a lot individually, but of course it's not like you're just gonna end your opponent in just just one or two hits if you're not using meter. Hell, even with meter, no one does that much damage in this damn game, where literally just one or two hits is all you need. The way to pick your opponent apart with unblockables, good normals that do good damage on their own. Some very straightforward, pretty basic, but good attack strings that work well together. Dang it! Yeah, I'm not exactly the best when it comes to doing combos. But anyways, that's all I can really say. If you want to get the most out of Bane, definitely give him a try in this game. And that's going to be the end of that for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it and found this guy at least somewhat decent. And I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Have a great day.